The bitter wind sweeps through the shattered glass of an abandoned city as desperate survivors struggle to outlast the harsh winter. They anxiously scavenge through empty hardware stores, fighting over rusted tools and worthless scraps, while ignoring the real treasures left behind. In their panic, these scavengers will completely walk past, sit on, or even chop up for firewood a familiar piece of elegant furniture sitting quietly in a ruined church or hotel lobby. They destroy a priceless resource cache simply because they only see a dusty grand piano. But a piano is no longer a machine for making music or entertaining a crowd. In reality, it is a highly advanced, precision-engineered vault of premium materials designed to withstand thousands of pounds of continuous mechanical stress. Today, we're going to strip away the polished wooden exterior of this forgotten object to reveal its true anatomy. Let's discover 4 hidden components inside every piano that can help you secure food, fortify your shelter, and maintain your survival when all other supplies have run dry. But before we unlock this wooden vault, take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Joining this community ensures you won't miss the vital, forgotten survival knowledge that keeps you one step ahead of the panic. Now, let's look at the first hidden asset.
The first highly valuable asset is the piano wire itself. A standard acoustic piano contains over 200 individual strings made of high-carbon steel, commonly known in engineering as music wire. This specific type of steel is drawn and tempered to achieve an incredible balance of tensile strength and elasticity. Because it is engineered to vibrate constantly under immense pressure without deforming, it is far more durable and fatigue-resistant than standard fence wire or cheap electrical cables you might scavenge from a ruined house. In a harsh survival scenario, this high-carbon steel wire becomes your primary tool for securing a passive food source. The thinner treble strings are highly springy and nearly invisible in the brush, making them excellent materials for setting up a snare line to trap small game while you focus on other tasks. You can quickly gather enough premium wire from a single piano to sustain a wide network of traps around your camp for months. Beyond foraging, the thicker strings provide excellent utility for perimeter security and crafting. They can be stretched tightly across the woods as long tripwires to alert you of approaching dangers without snapping under tension. Additionally, by wrapping a length of this high-carbon steel wire around 2 sturdy wooden handles, you can create a makeshift friction wire saw. This improvised tool can be used to slice through thick branches or plastic pipes with a rapid back-and-forth motion, giving you a compact cutting device when you don't have a reliable axe.
Deep inside the heavy wooden frame lies the second critical component, the tuning pins. A standard acoustic piano houses roughly 200 of these thick, short cylinders, each gripping the wood with immense friction to hold back the string's tension. These pins are forged from hardened blued steel. One end is squared off to fit a tuning wrench, while the other is subtly tapered. This is not cheap scrap metal. It is premium steel specifically treated to resist bending and deformation under extreme continuous force. When factory-made supplies disappear, prying these out gives you a master collection of over 200 pre-made steel tools. In a harsh environment, these pins immediately serve multiple practical purposes without requiring any modification. Because of their dense, tapered shape, they function perfectly as heavy-duty awls. By applying steady pressure, you can punch precise holes through thick leather, heavy canvas, or layered fabrics to stitch together winter clothing or repair a damaged tarp shelter. Furthermore, their squared ends make them excellent improvised fasteners. You can drive them deeply into scavenged timber to act as indestructible dowel pins, securely holding the framework of your off-grid cabin together when nails and screws are no longer available. The true long-term value of these pins, however, emerges when you need to manufacture new gear from scratch. Because they are uniform cylinders of premium steel stock, they act as an amateur blacksmith's starter kit. By simply heating these pins until they glow red in a standard campfire, you can lay them on a flat rock and hammer them to shape custom items. You can quickly forge durable fishhooks, woodworking chisels, or even makeshift drill bits. Having over 200 blanks of reliable steel gives you the power to rebuild essential hardware to outlast the collapse.
Hidden beneath the mechanical action lies a surprisingly soft yet highly engineered resource, the piano felt. Found primarily in the striking hammers and dampers, this is not the fragile, cheap fabric you find in an ordinary craft store. It is industrial-grade, heavily compressed wool, carefully selected for its extreme density and relentless consistency. It was manufactured to endure millions of rapid impacts over decades without ever losing its structural integrity. In a ruined city where clothing and fabrics rot quickly, finding textiles of this premium quality is incredibly rare. When struggling through a freezing, wet environment, this dense wool becomes a lifesaver. Unlike cotton or synthetic fabrics, which lose all thermal value when saturated, the complex fiber structure of wool traps microscopic pockets of air. This allows it to retain a massive amount of its insulating properties, even when soaking wet. You can extract this felt, cut it to size, and use it to line your boots or stuff into thin gloves to survive a harsh winter storm. Outside of clothing, it serves perfectly as a heavy-duty pre-filter to screen out thick sediment before you purify scavenged drinking water, or as a tight gasket material to seal improvised plumbing in your off-grid shelter. Beyond warmth, this highly compressed material hides a brilliant application for gear maintenance and stealth. Because industrial felt retains thick liquids beautifully without falling apart, a small square of this material soaked in scavenged motor oil becomes a permanent, heavy-duty applicator. You can use it to continuously coat your crucial steel tools and blades, preventing catastrophic rust in damp environments. Furthermore, if you need to move through unpredictable territories, you can attach these durable felt pads to the soles of your boots and the contact points of your gear. This simple modification drastically muffles your footsteps and dampens the clanking of your equipment, allowing you to scavenge silently and remain completely undetected. To claim the final and most substantial resource, you must look past the delicate keys and prepare to dismantle the very spine of the instrument. The core foundation of this musical beast is a massive, indestructible skeleton of high-grade cast iron known as the harp. It was painstakingly engineered and poured as a single continuous piece to flawlessly withstand up to 20 tons of combined string tension without warping. In a grand piano, this single metal vault weighs a staggering 300 to 400 pounds. In a post-collapse society where raw metal becomes the ultimate currency for rebuilding, this plate is an absolute motherlode of premium iron that ordinary scavengers will completely overlook. Extracting this treasure requires a heavy sledgehammer and relentless effort. Because of its specific metallurgical properties, cast iron fractures along its natural geometric stress lines rather than bending when subjected to massive trauma. Once shattered, these heavy, jagged iron chunks instantly become the raw foundation for your off-grid manufacturing. A large, flat section of this plate, when laid securely across a thick wooden stump, creates a perfectly stable, unyielding anvil for all your future blacksmithing and metal shaping needs. Without an anvil, forging the steel tuning pins we discussed earlier would be nearly impossible. Beyond construction, this dense cast iron possesses miraculous thermal properties that can protect your shelter during a harsh winter. Flat, unbroken sections can be safely positioned over a roaring open fire to act as a heavy-duty cooking griddle that distributes heat evenly and will never burn through like the cheap sheet metal from abandoned cars. Furthermore, you can grind the sharper, thicker, shattered fragments into heavy-duty survival hatchets and wood-splitting tools to process your firewood. Finally, cast iron is the ultimate off-grid heat storage battery. By heating a heavy chunk in the fire and wrapping it tightly in thick fabric, it will continuously radiate intense, comforting warmth for hours inside your shelter, providing life-sustaining heat with zero risk of carbon monoxide poisoning while you sleep.
The grand piano was never truly just an instrument of entertainment. Disguised beneath a beautiful, polished wooden veneer, it has always been a brilliant, heavily armored survival cache hiding in plain sight. It is a tensile engineering marvel, a massive metallurgical vault, and a premium textile reservoir. Over 200 high-tensile steel wires, 200 hardened steel forging blanks, several pounds of medical-grade wool felt, and hundreds of pounds of premium iron. The next time you step into an abandoned building and see a piano covered in dust, you won't see a useless musical relic. You will see an endless supply of survival materials. You will smile quietly to yourself, knowing that your security is established while the rest of the world scrambles for scraps. If you want to master more forgotten survival strategies and outlast the unpredictable future, subscribe and hit the notification bell right now. Stay prepared and stay safe.